August 26, 1910, William James, the father of modern psychology, took his last breath at home in New Hampshire. His family held his hand. The room was quiet, and in his final moments, he whispered words that are now carved on his grave. Be not afraid of life. Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact. Tonight, in part 29, the end of chapter 6, you'll hear his peaceful final hours surrounded by family, the worldwide reaction when the news broke, and the one legacy that still saves lives every single day. This is how the legend left the world. Stay until the end. His last message will stay with you forever. Returning home, James's last intellectual efforts and his reflections on death. After William, James returned to the United States from his difficult medical journey in Europe. He entered the final stage of his life. His body was extremely weak, but his mind was still active and thoughtful. Page 7 of this chapter explores his last months, how he continued to think, write, reflect, and communicate with the world even as death approached. These pages reveal the depth of his character and the dignity with which he faced the end of his life. When James settled again in New Hampshire, it was clear to everyone around him that he would not recover. The treatments in Europe had given him brief moments of relief, but no lasting improvement. He accepted this reality without bitterness. His philosophy, shaped by a lifetime of reflection, helped him face his decline with calmness. He believed that life's value comes from effort, experience, and meaning, not from avoiding suffering. This belief allowed him to look at his final months with honesty and courage. James's home in New Hampshire was peaceful, surrounded by trees, open fields, and quiet hills. The environment provided a sense of stillness, even though he could no longer walk far. He enjoyed sitting by a window or on a porch, watching birds, clouds, and seasonal changes. Nature had always held great meaning for him. Now, in his last months, it became a source of comfort and reflection. He wrote that the simple beauty of the world softened the pain he felt in his body. Although writing had become difficult, his desire to express ideas did not disappear. Some days, he dictated short notes to his family members. These notes were not long essays, but they revealed his continuing interest in philosophy and human nature. He reflected on topics such as the meaning of suffering, the mystery of consciousness, the limits of science, and the power of human choice. He knew he no longer had the strength to produce big works, but the thoughts remained alive inside him. James often spoke to his children during this time, sharing memories of his younger years, lessons he had learned, and hopes he had for their futures. He encouraged them to remain curious, compassionate, and open-minded. He reminded them that life is a journey where learning never stops. These conversations were deeply meaningful to him, and they offered his children a chance to understand their father's wisdom more clearly. The tenderness in these exchanges shows how important family was to James, especially near the end. During his final months, James also received letters from students, colleagues, and admirers from around the world. Many people wrote to thank him for his books and lectures, explaining how his ideas had changed their thinking or brought comfort during difficult times. James was touched by these messages, even when he did not have the strength to reply. He listened as family members read the letters aloud. Knowing that his work had helped others brought him a sense of fulfillment. He felt that his efforts had not been wasted. One of the strongest themes in James's final reflections was the continuity of life. He believed that death was not simply an ending but part of the larger flow of existence. He did not claim to know what happens after death, but he believed that life is connected to a deeper reality than what we see. He often spoke of a hidden dimension of existence, even when he was too weak to write. He repeated the idea that life contains mysteries that cannot be explained by physical science alone. James also spent time reflecting on his long career. He considered how his ideas had developed over the years, from his early studies in medicine to his groundbreaking work in psychology to his later writings in philosophy and religion. He did not see his life as divided into separate parts, but as one continuous effort to understand the human experience. He was proud of the path he had followed, even though it had been full of struggle. He felt that his life had been meaningful because he had stayed true to his curiosity and his desire to explore the depths of experience. In his last months, James faced periods of intense physical pain. These episodes sometimes left him unable to speak for hours. Yet, he did not complain. He bore the pain with remarkable patience. His family noted that he often tried to comfort them, even when he was suffering. He reassured them that he was at peace and that he accepted his condition. His courage during these moments revealed the strength of his character. James's reflections on death were gentle and thoughtful, not filled with fear. He did not pretend that death was pleasant, but he believed that it was natural. In a letter written during this period, he said that every person must face the unknown with honesty and humility. He felt that death was a transition, not a failure or defeat. This attitude was consistent with his philosophy, which encouraged people to face uncertainty bravely and to trust their own experiences. One of the most moving aspects of James's final months was his continuing concern for the world. Even when he was unable to participate directly, he remained interested in social issues, scientific discoveries, and philosophical debates. He asked family members to read newspapers and academic journals aloud to him. He listened thoughtfully and sometimes offered comments. His mind continued to engage with the world until the very end. During this time, James also received visits from close friends and former students. These visits were filled with warmth and gratitude. Many of them told him how his ideas had shaped their lives. Some spoke of the kindness he had shown them years earlier. Others expressed appreciation for his books, especially the varieties of religious experience, which had become influential even during his lifetime. These conversations brought joy to James, who valued intellectual companionship deeply. As his strength declined further, James spent more time resting and sleeping. His family remained close, keeping watch and providing comfort. They read to him, prepared his meals, and sat quietly by his side. These final days were marked by calmness rather than turmoil. Although James's body was failing, the atmosphere around him was full of love and peace. In his last conscious days, James spoke softly about the importance of continuing the search for truth. He reminded his family that life's meaning comes not from certainty, but from the willingness to explore, to question, and to live with openness. He encouraged them to embrace the richness of experience and to remain humble in the face of life's mysteries. These final words carry the essence of his life's work. On August 26, 1910, William James passed away peacefully at his home in New Hampshire. He died surrounded by family in the quiet environment he loved. His death marked the end of an extraordinary life dedicated to understanding the human mind, the nature of belief, and the meaning of experience. But his influence did not end with his passing. His ideas continued to grow, reaching new generations and shaping the fields of psychology, philosophy, and religious studies. Chapter 6. The gentle strength and profound humanity with which James faced his final months. His courage, humility, and intellectual curiosity remained unchanged, even as his body grew weak. These final reflections revealed the depth of his character and the lasting power of his ideas. The passing of William James and the immediate response to his death. When William James died peacefully at his home in New Hampshire on August 26, 1910, the news spread quickly among scholars, students, writers, and intellectuals around the world. Chapter 6, page 8 explores the immediate reactions to his passing, how his family and close friends grieved, and how newspapers, universities, and admirers responded to the loss of a man who had shaped modern psychology and philosophy. William James's death did not come as a surprise to those close to him. His illness had been long and difficult, and in the months before his passing, his health had declined very sharply. His family had prepared themselves emotionally for the moment. Still, when it arrived, it brought a deep sadness. James had been not only a husband and father, but also the emotional center of his household, a gentle presence, a wise advisor, and a source of warmth. His wife, Alice, who had cared for him tirelessly, felt a mixture of grief and relief. She had watched him suffer for years, struggling with pain and weakness. Now his suffering was over. She later wrote that his final hours were peaceful, marked by calm breathing and soft light coming through the windows. His children gathered around him, offering comfort and silent companionship. In those final moments, the atmosphere was one of love rather than fear. The funeral was simple, reflecting James's dislike for elaborate displays. He had always believed in humility, even in death. Family members, neighbors, and a few close friends attended the small ceremony. They spoke quietly about his kindness, humor, and intellectual openness. His brother, the famous novelist Henry James, was deeply affected. Although Henry had been living in Europe, he sent heartfelt messages of grief and admiration. The two brothers had been close throughout their lives, supporting each other's creative work even when illness separated them physically. After the funeral, letters of sympathy began arriving at the James home from all over the world. Students wrote to say how his lectures had changed the way they saw themselves and the world. Scholars praised his ability to combine rigorous thought with compassion. Many people said that James had given them courage to explore their own experiences honestly and to face uncertainty without fear. These messages brought comfort to the family, showing them how far James's influence had reached. Newspapers across the United States and Europe published long articles honoring him. Some headlines described him as America's greatest philosopher, while others called him the father of modern psychology. Writers emphasized his originality, his honesty, and his willingness to challenge both scientific dogmatism and religious rigidity. They praised him for bringing philosophy closer to human life, making it less abstract and more connected to everyday experience. Harvard University, where James had taught for more than 30 years, responded with deep respect. The university held memorial gatherings in which professors and former students shared their memories. They spoke about James's powerful lectures, his unusual teaching style, and his ability to make complex ideas feel alive and personal. Students remembered how he encouraged them to think for themselves, to question authority, and to trust their own experiences. Even those who did not agree with his ideas admired his honesty and integrity. Philosophers in America and Europe also paid tribute to James. Prominent thinkers noted that he had reshaped American philosophy by introducing pragmatism, a way of thinking that judged ideas by their consequences and usefulness. They praised him for rejecting rigid systems and instead embracing flexibility, pluralism, and open-mindedness. European scholars wrote about how deeply the varieties of religious experience had influenced the study of religion, making it more humane and less judgmental. Psychologists, too, honored James's contributions. They described his book, Principles of Psychology, as a monumental achievement that had shaped the entire field. Even though new scientific methods had developed since its publication, many psychologists still saw James as the foundation upon which their work was built. They admired his clear writing, his willingness to explore the complexities of consciousness, and his sensitivity to the human mind. Many ordinary readers also mourned his death. James had the rare ability to write in a way that appealed to both scientists and the general public. People who had read his lectures or essays often felt that he understood their private struggles, their doubts, hopes, fears, and beliefs. They admired his honesty in discussing his own challenges, such as his early struggles with depression and his lifelong search for meaning. One of the most striking features of the reaction to James's death was the sense that the intellectual world had lost not only a brilliant mind but also a deeply humane soul. Many tributes emphasized his kindness. Colleagues remembered how he supported younger scholars, offering them encouragement when they felt uncertain. Students recalled how he listened to them with respect, even when they were inexperienced. Friends wrote about his humor, his warmth, and his ability to make them feel understood. Henry James, William's brother, expressed his grief in particularly moving terms. In letters to friends, Henry described feeling as though a part of himself had been lost. The brothers had shared a lifelong conversation about art, experience, and the meaning of life. Their correspondence reveals deep affection and mutual admiration. Henry wrote that William's death left the world smaller and colder. These words show the depth of their relationship and the emotional impact of William's passing. Even in Europe, where William James had spent much time seeking medical treatment and engaging with scholars, reactions were heartfelt. French and German newspapers published respectful obituaries. Philosophers in France wrote essays praising his courage in facing illness, his openness to different religious experiences, and his refusal to accept simple answers to complex questions. German scholars admired his ability to blend psychology and philosophy in innovative ways. Religious leaders from various traditions also commented on his death. They noted that although James had not belonged to any one organized religion, he had treated religious experience with compassion and seriousness. They appreciated that he never dismissed belief, even when he remained scientifically cautious. Many saw him as a bridge between faith and reason, someone who recognized the value of spiritual life without insisting on dogma. Several months after his passing, academic journals published long memorial essays analyzing his contributions. These essays emphasized the originality of his ideas, his belief in individual experience, his defense of free will, his interest in the subconscious mind, and his argument that truth is a process rather than a fixed absolute. Scholars predicted that his work would continue influencing future generations, and they were right. Indeed, as time passed, his books continued to be read widely. His ideas spread beyond philosophy and psychology into education, sociology, religious studies, and even literature. The immediate response to his death showed that his influence had already crossed academic boundaries. He was remembered not just as a scholar, but as a thinker who cared deeply about human life, its challenges, uncertainties, and possibilities. Page 8 captures the world's first reactions to William James's passing, the grief of his family, the admiration of scholars, and the widespread recognition that a great mind had been lost. Yet, even in these early moments, it was clear that his ideas would continue to shape the world long after his death. William James died, but his ideas only grew stronger. In Chapter 6, Part 30, tomorrow you'll discover the unpublished manuscripts that shocked the world, the one idea that predicted modern therapy 100 years early, and the final legacy that made Einstein call him America's greatest mind. Chapter 6, Part 30 drops tomorrow, 8 p.m. sharp. Subscribe plus bell on. The journey continues.